I come before you yet today with another warning. Listen, and listen good. This warning may not be heard again, but it will be in your remembrance. Are you coming against tall trees of righteousness, bringing strange fire before Yahweh? Listen up, tall trees. Listen up, remnant who come against tall trees. Proverbs 15, starting at verse 7. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. The slaughtering of the wrong ones is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. The way of the wrong is the way of the wrong one is an abomination to Yahweh, but he loves him who pursues righteousness. Discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. He who hates reproof dies. Are you listening? Turn to Numbers 16. This one's a big one, starting at verse 1. And Korah and the son of Itzhar, the son of Kohath, and the son of Levi, took both Danath and Abiram and the sons of Eliab and On and son of Peleth and the son of Reuben, and they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, called ones of the meeting, men of name, right? And they assembled against Moses and Aaron, right? Moses representing the Messiah, Aaron representing the tall trees of righteousness. They're both tall trees of righteousness, representing the shepherds that are raised up today. Okay, so let's restart there on verse 3. And they assembled against Moses and against Aaron and said to them, Enough of you, for all of the congregation is set apart, and all of them and Yahweh is in their midst. And why do you lift up yourselves above the assembly of Yahweh? And when Moses heard, he fell on his face. Now, why did Moses fall on his face? Moses was very humble. Pleading for the people, right? These tall trees, these shepherds, they will be doing the same thing. You don't know what happens behind the scenes, now do you? Be careful who you come against. And spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, Tomorrow morning Yahweh shall make known who is his and who is set apart, and bring him near to him, and let him bring near to him one whom he chooses. Do this, take fire holders and Korah and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense in them before Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the one whom Yahweh chooses is the set apart one. Enough of you, sons of Levi. And Moses said to Korah, Hear now, you sons of Levi, is it little to you that the Elohim of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to perform the service of the dwelling place of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation to serve them? And that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brothers and the sons of Levi with you. Yet you seek the priesthood as well? Therefore, you and all your company are set apart, or set against, you and your company are set against Yahweh and Aaron. And what is he that you grumble against him? And Moses sent to Dathan and Abiram and the sons of Eliab, but they said, We are not coming up. Is it little that you have brought us up out of the land of flowing with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, that you would also cease to rule over us? Also, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Would you bore out the eyes of these men? We are not coming up. And Moses became very displeased and said to Yahweh, Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. Are you listening? These tall trees are already standing today. Are you listening? Be careful on how you come against these tall trees. Very, very careful. Okay. Then Moses said to Korah, tomorrow you and all your company shall be there before Yahweh, you and they and Aaron, and take each one a his fire holder, and you shall put incense in it, and let each one bring his fire holder before Yahweh. 250 fire holders, and you and Aaron, each one with his fire holder. So each one took his fire holder and put fire in it, and laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tent of the appointment with Moses and Aaron. And Korah assembled all the congregation against them at the door of the tent of the appointment. Then the esteem of Yahweh appeared to all the congregation, and Yahweh spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from the midst of the congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. Yahweh does not change, folks. Keep that in mind. But they fell on their faces and said to Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, when one man sins, are you wroth with all the congregation? And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, move away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, please turn away from the tents of these wrong men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Then they moved away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moses said, by this you know that Yahweh has sent me to do all these works, that they are not from my own heart. If these die as all men do, if they are visited as all men are visited, then Yahweh has not sent me. But if Yahweh creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up, and all that belongs to them, they go down alive into Sheol. Then you shall know that these men who have scorned Yahweh, and it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households and all the men with the Korah and with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed over them. They perished from the midst of the assembly. And all Israel who were around about them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up. And the fire came out of Yahweh and consumed the 250 men who were offering up incense. What were they offering up? Strange words and strange prayers before the Father, coming against men of righteousness, tall trees of righteousness, who the Father raised up. Be careful. Be very careful who you come against in these days. All right? These tall trees are standing, and they're standing tall. Be very careful. Your set-apart spirit within you should be bearing witness of these set-apart trees. Okay? And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, say to Eleazar, its son of Aaron the priest, to pick up the fire holders out of the blaze, for they are set apart, and scatter the fire to some distance away. The fire holders of these men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as a covering for the slaughtering place, because they brought them before Yahweh. Therefore they are set apart, and that let them become a sign to the children of Israel. The Spirit of the Master Yahweh. Please turn to Isaiah 61, starting at verse 1. And the Spirit of the Master Yahweh is upon me, because Yahweh has anointed me to bring the good news to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim the release to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh, and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all who mourn, to appoint unto those who mourn in Zion, to give them embellishment for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, and they shall be called tall trees of righteousness. Yeah, I kind of threw the word tall in there, but that's exactly what this is implying. A planting of Yahweh to be adorned. Okay? Now I need you to turn over to Psalms 1, starting at verse 1. Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, shall not stand in the path of sinners, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahweh, and he meditates in his Torah day and night. For he shall be as a tree, tall tree, planted by the rivers of water, that yields its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither, and whatever he does prospers. That includes bringing forth this word. Keep that in mind. Okay? Exodus 4, starting at verse 14. The displeasure of Yahweh burned against Moses, and he said, Is not Aaron and the Levite your brother? Uh-oh. Listen up. And I know that he speaks well, and see, he is also coming out to meet you. And when he sees you, he shall be glad in his heart, and you shall speak to him and put words in his mouth. And I am with your mouth and with his mouth, and I shall teach you what to do. Remember who I said Moses was in these contexts? Or Messiah. Remember who I said was in this context about Aaron? Tall trees of righteousness, the shepherds being brought forth and being raised up. Okay? All right. And he shall speak for you to the people, and it shall be that he shall be a mouth for you, and you shall be an Elohim for him. And take this rod in your hand, which you shall do the signs. Uh-oh. Oh, listen up. Listen. Exodus chapter 7, verse 1. So Yahweh said to Moses, See, I have made you an Elohim to Pharaoh, and Aaron, your brother, is a prophet. These tall trees are doing the works of the prophets. Okay? They're doing the workings of the prophets. Be careful on how you speak to them. Now turn to Deuteronomy 18, starting at verse 18. I shall raise up for them a prophet like you out of the midst of their brothers. Oh, who's that? That would be our brother, our Messiah, right? Oh, what did I just tell you beforehand? About those words being in the mouth of tall trees. Okay? And I shall raise up for them a prophet like you out of the midst of their brothers, and I shall put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be that the man who does not listen to my words, which he speaks in my name, I required of him. He requires your life. Okay? Now turn to Psalm 78, starting at verse 1. My people, give ear to my Torah. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. Uh-oh. Are you still coming against tall trees of righteousness? Be careful. Be careful now. Open my mouth in a parable. I utter riddles of old. Listen. Proverbs, starting at chapter 9, starting at verse 9. I give instruction to the wise one, and he is wiser still. Teach a righteous one, and he increases in learning. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the set-apart one is understanding. For by me your days become many, and years of life are added to you. Are you fearing the Father when you try to come against these tall trees of righteousness? Listen, listen. Head on over to Jeremiah 3, verse 15. And I shall give you shepherds according to my heart, and they shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What are these tall trees doing to this day? What are they doing right now? Your spirit should be bearing witness to the set-apart spirit that's within these brothers, these tall trees of righteousness who are standing tall and speaking loudly, revealing these truths. Okay, listen. Turn to Psalms 37, starting at verse 30. The mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, and his tongue talks a right ruling. The Torah of Elohim is in his heart. His steps do not slide. Ooh. Turn to Psalms 119, starting at verse 129. Your witnesses are wonders, so my being observes them. The opening up of your words gives light, giving understanding to the simple. Interesting. Very interesting. Turn on over to Jeremiah 33, starting at verse 10. Thus said Yahweh, in this place of which you say, it is dried up, without man and without beast, in the cities of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem, that are deserted, without man and without inhabitant and without beast, there shall once again be heard the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of those who are saying, praise Yahweh of hosts. For Yahweh is good, for his loving commitment is forever, of those who are bringing the offering of praise into the house of Yahweh. For I shall turn back the captivity of the land as at the first, declares Yahweh. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, in this place which is dried up, without man and without beast, and in all its cities, there shall once again be a home of shepherds, right? Causing their flocks to lie down in the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the low country, and in the cities of the south, in the land of Benjamin, and in the places all around Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah. The flocks once again pass under the hands of him who counts them, declares Yahweh. Okay? Now let's flip on over to Malachi chapter 2, starting at verse 5. My covenant with him was life and peace. I gave them to him to fear, and he feared me, right? And stood in awe of my name. The Torah of truth was in his mouth. Are you listening? Are you listening? And unrighteousness was not found on his lips. He walked with me in peace and straightness, and turned many away from crookedness. Listen. For the lips of the priest should guard knowledge, and they seek the Torah from his mouth. For he is the messenger of Yahweh of hosts. Heed the warning that I'm bringing forth to you today. Okay? All right, let's flip on over to Numbers 12, starting at verse 2 through 3, and then 5 through 8. Okay? And they said, has Yahweh spoken only through Moses? Are you listening? Are you listening? Listen up, all you women, all you remnant, coming against tall trees of righteousness. Heed this warning. Heed this warning. And they said, has Yahweh spoken only through Moses? Has he not also spoken through us? And Yahweh heard it. And the man of Moses was very humble. So will these tall trees of righteousness, these shepherds, being raised up by the Father. They're not raised up, self-appointed by their own doings. They're raised up by the Father. So be careful who you are coming against. It will not go well for you or your family. The Father does not change. Not at all. Be careful. Heed the warning. And the man of Moses was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth. And Yahweh came down in the column of a cloud, and stood in the door of the tent, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both went forward. And he said, Hear now my words. If your prophet is of Yahweh, I make myself known to him in a vision, and I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses. Right? Not so with my servant Messiah. Oh, remember, Messiah puts these words forth into the priest's mouth. Oh, the spirit of prophecy has come upon these men. All right? Heed the warning. Okay? I'll restart that. Starting at verse 6. And he said, Hear now my words. If your prophet is of Yahweh, I make myself known to him in a vision, and I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses. He is trustworthy in all my house. I speak with him mouth to mouth. Okay? And plainly. Right? And not in riddles. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Be careful now. Be careful who you come against. And he sees the form of Yahweh. So why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Uh-oh. That includes the tall trees of righteousness, who the Father brings forth and raises up. Just as our Messiah was raised up by the Father. This is not self-appointed. Okay? Now be careful. Psalms 101, starting at verse 3. I set no matter of Belial before my eyes. I hate the work of those who fall away. It does not cleave to me. A perverse heart turns away from me. I do not know evil. Him who secretly slanders his neighbor, I cut off. Uh-oh. 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 Be careful now. Be careful now. I do not tolerate one who has a haughty look and a proud heart. Okay? Turn to Amos 3, starting at verse 6. If a shofar is blown in a city, are these tall trees blowing that shofar? Is your set-apart spirit, if you have the set-apart spirit, bearing witness to this shofar being blown to this day right now? These tall trees are raised up by the Father, being completely raised up, right, for a reason. Okay. If a shofar is blown in a city, do the people not tremble? Oh. If there is calamity in a city, shall not Yahweh have done it? For the Master Yahweh does no matter unless he reveals his secret to his servants, the prophets. Uh-oh. Be very careful. That includes tall trees. Be very careful about coming against another tall tree. We must do it rightly, correctly. Okay? Heed the warning, brothers and sisters. Heed the warning. Proverbs 1, starting at verse 2. For knowing the wisdom and discipline, for the understanding of the words of understanding, for receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right ruling, and straightness, for giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increase learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel. For understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. Right? The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. Right? Listen. 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 This warning may never come again. Listen. Isaiah 8, verse 20. To the Torah and to the witness, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because they have no light in them. Right? No light. Right? Like I said, be careful coming against these tall trees of righteousness. Be careful. Where is the fear of Yah in you people? You make me sick. You make me sick. What do you think it does to the Father? Come on, get real, people. Wake up. Wake up. Now, we're going to go on over to Revelation of Peter, chapter 2, verses 1 through 2 and 7 through 8. All right? Then men and women will come to the place prepared for them, right? By their tongues with which they have blasphemed the way of righteousness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are you coming against righteousness? Are you coming against tall trees of righteousness? Let me reread that over again one more time. The men and women will come to a place prepared for them by their tongues with which they have blasphemed the way of righteousness. They will be hanged up. There is spread under them unquenchable fire, and they do not escape it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened to those sons of Korah that stepped out before the Father, bringing strange words before Yahweh? Uh-oh. Behold, another place therein is a pit great and full, and in it are they that have denied righteousness, and messengers of punishment punish them, and there they kindled on them the fire of their torment. Azrael, the messenger of wrath, will bring men and women, the half of their bodies burning, and cast them into a place of darkness, even the Gehenna of men, and the spirit of wrath will punish them with all manner of torment. And a worm that does not sleep will devour their entrails. And these are the persecutors and betrayers of my righteous ones. Are you listening? Be careful. Be careful. And besides them that are there will be other men and women gnawing their tongues, and they will torment them with red hot iron and burn their eyes. These are they that slander and doubt my righteousness. Uh-oh. Other men and women whose works were done in deceitfulness will have their lips cut off, and fire enters into their mouth and their entrails. These are the false witnesses. Uh-oh. Are you becoming a false witness against tall trees of righteousness who the Father raised up, coming in against the righteousness of this word? I would be very careful. Very careful. Okay? Or, all right, let me reread that verse. Shoot. No, I'll just start off where I left off. Sorry. False witnesses, or these are they. Let's reread that verse 8. And beside them that are there will be other men and women gnawing their tongues, and they will torment them with red hot iron and burn their eyes. These are they that slander and doubt of my righteousness. Other men and women whose works were done in deceitfulness will have their lips cut off, and fire enters into their mouth and their entrails. These are the false witnesses, or these are they that cause the martyrs to die by their lying. Be careful. Be very careful. The Father is not playing games, folks. Where's the fear of Yahweh in you people? Come on now. Makes me sick. Makes me sick. Psalms 50, starting at verse 17. While you hated instruction and casted my words behind you, when you saw a thief, you were pleased with him, and you take part with adulterers? You let your mouth loose to evil. Your tongue frames deceit. You sit and speak against your brother. You slander your own mother's son, right? You have done this, and I kept silent. You have thought that I was altogether like you. I rebuke you. I rebuke you. And set in order before your eyes. Understand this, please, you who forgot Elo, lest I tear you in pieces with no one to deliver. Right? Turn to Proverbs 15, starting at verse 28. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wrong pours out evil. Right? Yahweh is far from the wrong ones, but he hears the prayer of righteous. Right? The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones, and an ear that hears the reproof of life does dwell among the wise. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding, right? The fear of Yahweh is the discipline of wisdom, and before the esteem is humility. Proverbs 28, verse 9. He who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. What are these tall trees bringing forth before you? Uh-oh. Be careful. Heed the warning. This serves as a witness against tall trees and the remnant coming against who the Father has raised up, and they are not self-appointed.